Hey all, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are going to talk about all folk joints in one shot. Okay, I'll give you a clear cut difference between what is folk join any and folk join none. In one video we are going to discuss about all the folk joins in one shot. Okay, I have already issue like I have already published the videos on all this like folk join any and folk join none in detail with the explanation. Okay, I'll link that in the description box. You can go check that videos in order to have a clear difference, in order to know the clear difference between all the things. And now if you, after seeing these videos, if you come to this video, then you will understand more clearly about how to differentiate between all these three processes like folk join any and folk join none. Okay, so this is the first thing, that is folk join. So in the folk join what happens, so the statements which were notated before the folk join, they will be executed sequentially. Okay, and once you enter into the folk join, until all the processes that were given inside this folk join, until all those processes are completed, the folk join, the compiler won't be leaving this folk join block. So now what happens, until and unless all the processes within the fork join is completed, the remaining statements will be blocked in case of fork join. Okay, so this is the disadvantage of fork join, we can say. That means if you are going for fork join, then if you want to declare any statements outside the fork join, then all these statements will have to wait until all the processes within the fork join is completed. Okay, so this is about fork join. So that is why if you see, until and unless all the process is completed in the fork join, then only the statements which were given below this fork join will be executed. Okay, so this is the example for this fork join. Okay, I'm going to explain the same example for all the three, fork join and fork join none also, so that you will get the difference between these three things. So if you see here, if you are giving inside the fork join, so if you see, you have mentioned one display outside the fork join, so this display should wait until all these display statements will be executed within the fork join. Okay, now what happens if you want to execute this display, then what should you do, you have to wait until all the statements that you have written inside the fork join to be executed. That means this statement is being blocked by all statements that you are mentioning. So now what happens, until all the statements based on the delay, until all these are executed, then only the last statement that you have given outside the fork join will be executed. Okay, so this is the thing about fork join. Now coming to the second thing, which is fork join any. Okay, this is somewhat upgraded than that of fork join. Why? Because as I told you, in the fork join, until all the process is being done, then only the remaining statements that are given below the fork join block will be executed. Okay, but in case of fork join any, what happens means, if at least one process is completed, then the fork join any, the compiler will be leaving the fork join any block, and then it will be executing the remaining statements that were mentioned below the fork join any block. Okay, there is one more disadvantage in this. What is that? Even though it is better compared to that of fork join, like, because in fork join, until all the process is being completed, the remaining statement should wait, but in fork join any also the waiting is there. But what is the thing, if at least one process is being completed, then the execution of the remaining statements which are mentioned outside this fork join any block will be executed. But at least one process should complete in fork join any also. Okay, it should wait until at least one process or one thread is executed within the fork join any block. That means it is blocking the next statements, but not too much compared to the top fork join block. Okay, so this is the difference between fork join and fork join any. Clear? So Yes. So when coming to the example for this, so the same example in fork join any. So now in order to execute this fork join any completed at time, that means in order to execute this statement, what you have to do, you have to at least complete one of the three processes that you have done here, taken here. That if you see here, this statement is executed at 10 time units. So since at least one of the statement is executed, that is why it is coming out of this fork join any block. Now what happens, this is executed after at least completing. That means even though you didn't mention any time delay for this particular display function, but still it has to wait for 10 time units because it is mentioned with fork join any. Okay, but it is better than before, because if you see the before statement, it has to wait for 20 time units. Okay, it has to wait for 20 time units in order to get executed, even though I didn't mention any time delay, but it still has to wait for 20 time units. That means the statement is getting blocked for 20 time units. But when it comes to fork join any, it is reduced from 20 to 10 time units, because here the at least one statement execution is done, then the compiler can leave the fork join any block. So that is why the execution has blocked for 10 time units rather than 20 time units. Right, now coming to fork join none. Okay, fork join none, from the name itself it says like everything will be done parallelly. Like here the statement, after statement 1 and 2 is executed, the process inside the statement and also the statements outside the statement will be executed parallelly. Like if you see here, this process 1, 2, 3 will be executed, and based on the and parallelly along with that, the statements that were mentioned outside the fork join none also will be executed. Okay, so it all depends on their time delay. Like there is no blocking here. Completely it is non-blocking. Why? Because depending upon the time delay that I am giving, and depending upon the work that is depending upon the display statements or time delay that is there within the processes, the display or the work is being done. But here no statement is getting blocked, because since I have written fork join none here. Okay, so what is happening here, the execution is being done parallelly without having any blocking of the remaining statements. Now if you see here, now what happens, since this is the first statement, since I didn't give any delay and the execution is done parallelly, so that is why what happens, so this will be executed at 0 time units. If you see, this is the non-blocking thing, because if you see, the same statement was executed at 20 time units in fork join, and it is at 10 time units and fork join none, any. Okay, but in case of fork join none, it is executed at 0 time delay. Okay, so based on your usage and based on your working, you will be using any of these three processes, like either it is fork join or fork join any or fork join none. Clear? So that is the main difference between fork join any and fork join none. Hope it is clear for you. If you are still having any doubts regarding what is the difference between fork join, like in order to have in order to know the clear difference, I think it is clear for you, because I have already made 3 sessions on this fork join, because this is very important topic in system verilog, and also you'll get many interview questions, and when you're going to internships also, without fork join any question, there won't be any interview. At least one question, at least on fork join or fork join any or fork join none, at least one question you can expect when you enter into any interviews regarding this design and verification domain. Okay, so let us do one thing. So here I have written a program here, right? You can pause the video and take the snapshot of this video or else anything, and then try to analyze the output for this. Okay, and if you get the output, you can ping me in the comment box. Okay, and I will tell if your output is correct or wrong. And also, if you want me to analyze this output, you can also ping me that in the comment box. Like, you can ask me if you want the analyzation of this particular, like if you want to know at what time it is being done. Okay, then I'll explain that. Clear? So try to take the snapshot of this and then try to analyze the output, because as I told you, fork join is all about analyzing, expecting the output at what time point it is coming, like at what time period you can expect this particular output or this particular display to be monitored in your log file. Clear? So this is about this fork join in and fork join none differences. Okay, so in order to have a clear vision on all these things, I have make the separate video in order to make the differences between all these things like fork join any and fork join none. Okay, hope it is helpful for you. And if you like this video, please consider subscribing the video. Also, recently I commented that like many of you are watching the video without subscribing it. Please don't do that. Please consider subscribing the channel and hit on the notification bell. Also try to consistent, and also try to learn something from it. Like, don't, like when you're learning it 100%, then you will be confident on that, and when you're confident, you can attend the interviews. Like, because why I'm saying this is because recently I come under many students that they are telling that they are not even though they have learned these courses like system verilog and UVM, they are not getting any interview calls. And even though they are giving some 2 or 3 interviews, they are not confident with that particular concepts. This happens only when you are not confident with that course. When this confidence will be boosted, when you learn completely about the course, when you know every nook and corner about that course, then only you can be confident. Okay, once you are confident, you will be getting the job 100%. Okay, that is all. Thank you.